Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning to you. It is Thursday. I believe it's June the 16th. We have been released back into the normalcy, as one would call it, if that is normal for anyone. Um, Back into the swing of things. As they say, we've been released. But I want you to know today that you've been covered the entire time. You've been protected the entire time. So you are already released. You are already released under the protection of the divine, under the guidance of the Holy Spirit. You are already released. Anyway, honey, this is Thought Field Thursday. It's Thought Field Thursday. And I just came this morning to say, hey, hello, how is everyone doing? And no, really, how are you doing? How are you doing in your mental health? How are you doing in your physical health? How are you doing in your finances? How are you doing in your relationships? How are you doing in relationship to the divine? How are you doing in relationship to yourself? Are you practicing self-care, which is so important right now? And even though we've been released to go back into, I guess, the population, are you still protecting one's self? Are you still honoring yourself by making sure and ensuring that you're doing everything possible to keep yourself well and to keep yourself whole and to keep yourself present? So today, Thoughtful Thursday is all about having positive, present, productive, and powerful words, thoughts, and action. That's what this is about. We come to you on Thursday morning just to give you a reminder that when our thoughts are positive, powerful, and when our words are positive and powerful, they produce, which is the action of the thing. And when you are acting on a thing, then you are then becoming what? What our topic is today, we are claiming responsibility. We are showing up. We are responding in ways that represent how we feel on the inside. And when I say how we feel on the inside, I'm not talking about our experiences, but I'm talking about that place within us, that divine place within us that is untouched, untainted, just unmoved by our circumstance, but always remains pure, always remains content, always remains focused, and always remains in a place to where you can go back to and feel good again. And so when I talk about claiming responsibility, it's about us not being just accountable. It's about how we are responding, to a thing. I did a definition search on responsibility, and it came up that it's the Latin root of respondere, and it didn't change until the 1600s, because the Latin root of respondere means to respond. But in the 1600s, the English took the word over, and it somehow formed into a concept of accountability. But either way, first, we have to learn to respond. Our responses positive, productive, powerful, and present. When we respond, when we show up to an issue, who's showing up to the party? Who's showing up? Is it our positivity? Is it our productivity? Is it our powerful, the power that we have within, the strength that we have within, or are we not showing up? Is it our circumstances? Is it our past experiences that show up for us and oftentimes contradict who we are on the inside? Is that who's showing up for us? Well, today in our Thoughtful Thursday, we want to show up in a way to where we are then using the English version, claiming responsibility by letting all of those things from the past go, releasing all of those old tapes, forgiving those who sometimes don't even know that they've caused an error. But it's also then taking responsibility for making sure we're well, that we're whole, being in a safe place to forgive, to put in that type of acceptance, not just for yourself, but just in the places that you're in. That's what this is all about this morning. Taking that and claiming a responsible space. So, okay, well, what does that necessarily mean? It says having a duty to deal with something, having control over, to be accountable, the opportunity, the ability to act independently, to make decisions without authorization, a moral obligation to behave correctly towards or in respect to yourself. To yourself. How are we being positive? How are we being present? How are we being productive? How are we being positive and powerful today in our present state when we are claiming responsibility? It's imperative now that we have the freedom to go out back amongst the population. How will we show up for that? And the basic way to do it is simply to go within. Go within and to respond from a safe space, from a clear space, from a thought-filled space of positivity, of production, of power, and to remain present. To remain present. And that's showing up to the thing whole, well, free, abundant, independent. That is how we are to show up. So you have to show up in that way, even to claim a responsibility, to be accountable. First you have to show up to a thing a certain way, then you can take on the accountability of the thing. That's our Thought-Filled Thursday. That's our Thought-Filled Thursday. It says, well, how do I even begin to do that? Let's do the serenity prayer today. So while you're out doing your day-to-day tasks, let's try and do the serenity prayer. Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, and the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So today, Thought-Filled Thursday is simply about our words, our thoughts, our actions. Are they positive? Are they powerful? Are they productive? Do they make me present? And when I show up, how am I responding so that I can be accountable? Am I letting things go? Am I starting things anew by putting myself in a place to where I'm claiming my future? I'm letting the past go, and I'm claiming my future. And I'm going to start that today with my serenity prayer. Lord, grant me the things. Grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Ashe, one more thing. I love y'all. Keep that up in your minds, in your hearts, and your spirits, and know the difference. When we claim responsibility, we are not only responding, thinking about how we're showing up, but we're also, when we show up, we're taking responsibility for our future. We're letting go of the past, and we're taking responsibility for our future.